I want to talk about this. Obviously, up top, so many people are flooding into my inbox and saying to me, you predicted this plane crash, which was obviously terrible. We're not making jokes about it. We did that on the patreon.com Tim Dillon show, but not about the plane crash, about the CEO statement, which was bizarre. It was just bizarre. Like the CEO was like, he was like, it was an American Eagle. He goes, it was operated by whatever. And then he goes, and that is a wholly owned subsidiary of American Air. Like, it was like, it just felt odd to get into the corporate structure of the actual carrier, but it's tragic. Obviously, a Black Hawk helicopter collided with the plane on final approach into DCA, Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. I don't usually fly into Reagan. I have, but usually I've the many times I've been to D.C., the majority of them I've driven. It's not an airport that I know particularly well. I called my guy, my private jet guy, and he kind of filled me in on that approach that they were doing, which is a pretty common approach because they don't want you flying over the Pentagon or the White House. And then you're coming in, and there are a lot of helicopter training exercises being done. There was actually one the night before this happened where a plane had to, and I read about this, a plane had to abort a landing because of a helicopter that was flying very low. And that happened literally 24 hours before this plane tragically crashed into the Potomac. So it's not a new problem, and it just underscores what I've been saying about flying, that if you fly in America, you're going to die. There's no other way to say it. You're going to die. Maybe not now, maybe not this particular flight you're listening to this podcast on, but you will die. And you'll probably die horribly by plunging into freezing cold water. And there's nothing you can do about it. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it except embrace that as a fact. Every plane I get onto, I think I'm going to die. It is the healthiest way to think. This is it. The fact that I'm going right now to perform in Milwaukee is the choice I have made, and I'm going to die. And when the plane lands, you have cheated death. You've cheated it. When those wheels hit the runway, you have cheated death. Not forever, momentarily. Because everyone in aviation is shot. And that's why I predicted this. Because every person that I have seen, from the flight attendants to the pilots to the gate agents to that guy who fucking pulls out that hose and gasses up the plane, all of them are shot. Many of them are convicts, felons. They are shot. These are people who are at the end of their rope. They are treated poorly. They are not paid as well as they should be. They are exhausted. They are overworked. They are dealing with the American public, which has become an increasingly unruly group. And they're dealing with these psychopaths 30,000 feet in the air who want to change their seat, who are screaming and yelling. Many of them they try to sneak on the plane. They don't even have, these are sick people 30,000 feet in the air. There are fights. People are vaping, and they're blowing the smoke in the face of a baby. And then these people have to be the first line of defense. They have to go and say, can you stop vaping and blowing it on that baby's head? And then they get hit. There are air marshals. People are being dragged off planes. It is a hellish nightmare in the air. There are drones. There are helicopters. There are private planes. There are other things going on. There are kids in the suburbs with laser pointers trying to down these things for fun because they're bored. Okay? You are going to die in a plane. There's no other way to say it. That trip to Disney World will be your last. It is crazy. Wichita to fucking D.C., nobody thought. Nobody thought. And it sucks. And it's terrible. But it's terrible now. I mean, the best case is you get black mold, like that Delta flight, and you start vomiting. The best case on an airliner right now is you get norovirus, is the best case on a plane. The best case on a plane is that Your literal best case on a plane right now is that they will not let it take off because a schizophrenic has gone insane. Pray a schizophrenic loses their mind on your flight and they have to take it to the gate. That's the best case. When the wheels leave the ground, you're dead. Because no one's paying attention. They're drunk. The pilots and the flight attendants are drug addicts. When they have a day off, they just do drugs. I've asked them. This is what they do. They go to parties and do Molly, and that's fine. But a lot of them are still coming down on the plane. So the best case scenario is when you are sitting on the tarmac, pray to God someone starts screaming. Maybe you be the person who starts screaming. If you don't hear someone screaming on your plane, you start screaming so that they will not let that plane leave the ground. And they take it back to the gate. The best thing you can hear on a plane right now is hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are going back to the gate because of a security issue. Good. I'm going home. It's over. You're not killing me and my family today. I'm going home. Thank God for this psychopath. If it's not you start screaming. The next time you're on a plane, I want you to sit in the back, and when they go, well, the door is closed and we're ready to just go, ah! Start screaming, yelling about Gaza, whatever you want. Start screaming about the ceasefire. Yell about the ceasefire on the plane so they take it back to the gate. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. And what are the military? Stop with the helicopter drill. What's going on all the time? Stop it. It was terrible what happened to these people. I'm not making light of it. I'm simply saying that you're taking your life in your hands when you get on a fucking plane. I'm serious. Stop with the statistics all the time. Well, actually, statistically, it's the safest way to... Is it? Is it statistically the safest way? Hey, do you think they were saying that in the Potomac? Were they talking about the statistics in a river? It's not. Statistically, it's not. I've been in 5 car accidents, by the way. Many of them I've caused. But the point is, how many... You find the guy that's in 5 plane crashes, I'll talk to him. I've been in head-on collisions. Me and a fat secretary, I made a left from the right lane. We were getting money to get Vicodin in Long Island. We had a head-on collision in the car, Pepsi can, and she had her head hit the dashboard, and she had a massive balloon-sized welt on her head that filled up with blood. And it was fine. She's fine. We're all fine. You see what I mean? That's not the way it works in a plane. You can get in accidents. I had sun blindness once because I was high in my grandmother's Ford Focus in the parking lot of Nassau Community College. Sun blindness means the sun refracts or reflects, whatever, I don't know, off the sun and blinds you. The sun, refracts off the snow, and you just can't see anything. You're blind. And I was high, and I, 35 miles an hour, accelerated into the back of another car, and then I just left. I left because I was high. And I'm fine. And that person's fine, probably. Everyone's fine is what I mean. Most car accidents are fine. Some of them are actually fun. Some of them are actually good, and they give you a jolt of adrenaline. You could go on about your day. Most of the time, it's fine. Insurance companies pay out. Most of the time, it's fine. Plane crashes are they're definitive. It's over. There's no second chance. You don't get pulled out of the Potomac and go on and start. You know, that one thing, that fucking miracle in the Hudson ruined everything. Because everybody thought that, like, the worst thing could happen and some folksy airline pilot will land you safely in the Hudson River, and then you get to go on David Letterman. That's not what happens. That's not what happens. They are looking for your fingers. That's what really happens. There's a diver going, I found a knee. That's what happens. You don't land safely in the Hudson River because folksy Sully Sullenberger. I'm just saying. I'm saying, really think now if you're going to fly. I have to fly for my fucking job, and I don't want to. But where are you people going? Where the hell are you going? Oh, you're going to a bachelorette party? Stay home. You're going to die. You're going to die. Crash the economy. Stay home. Stay home. Drive. Take Amtrak. No one wants to take Amtrak. People would rather die than take Amtrak. I realize that. But there are some nice routes that are very nice with Amtrak. When you walk into an airport now, just know you are in, it is a hospice. You are in your final resting place. That little Starbucks sous vide egg bite will be the last thing you put down your throat, and they will find it on the autopsy inside of you. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. Air traffic controllers are so absent. They let one of them leave early. I read that. One of the air traffic controllers, they let them leave early, so there was one controller. What did that person have to do? What did the air traffic controller have to do? I hope it weighs heavily on their conscience. Here we go. A superior allowed an air traffic controller to leave before the crash. The duties of handling air traffic control for helicopters and those for planes at Reagan National Airport on Wednesday night were combined before the deadly crash between an Army Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines regional jet, according to a person briefed. Make that a little bigger if you could. The left, that left one air traffic controller handling dual roles, okay? Dual roles, according to the person briefed, who was not authorized to speak publicly about the investigation into the crash. So someone left early, and I hope it weighs on their conscience. I hope that person who left early, it weighs on their conscience. Because I would have been that person. But it wouldn't have weighed on my conscience because I'm a strong person. And if you're going to leave jobs early and perform in a way that endangers other people, as I have my entire life, you have to live with it. I was a terrible lifeguard. People, we missed saves. They were all fine. The parents jumped in and got them. The point is this. Because of my negligence in my jobs, have endangered many people. And the worst has never happened, but if it did happen, because I'm a strong person, I would have been able to handle it. I left early. I wasn't even there. I literally would be saying to people, I was not even there. I was not even there when that happened. Had I been there, it would have been okay. I'm a strong person. This person probably isn't. It's weighing on their fucking conscience. It's weighing on their conscience that they left early. It's a whole thing now. Their whole life's been completely changed. I would have been fine with it. I would have said, yeah, I left early because I wanted to watch YouTube videos on my couch and everyone died. But shit happens. But this person's probably crying at some fucking therapist that their job pays for. Own your decisions and own your life. It's terrible what happened, but you left early because you're a bum. And own that. Typically, the tasks of handling helicopter traffic and managing the planes are divided from 10 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. at the airport. According to the preliminary report, after 9:30, the duties are normally combined when traffic lessens. But an air traffic control supervisor combined those duties sometime before 9:30 p.m. and allowed one air traffic controller to leave early. So this is the supervisor's fault because they're trying to curry favor with some other supervisor they're probably having sex with. I have no proof of this is my guess. Or they want to have sex with. The staffing configuration was not normal for the time of day and volume of traffic. So a supervisor said, hey, it looks a little light. Why don't you get out of here? Whatever that person's name was. Maybe their last name was Thomas. Why don't you get out of here, Thomas? You sure? Yeah, we got it handled, Thomas. Their last name's Thomas. Get out of here. Go home and watch The Good Place. What's that? It was a sitcom from many years ago. Co-created by the creator of Hacks. What's Hacks? Thomas, will you get out of here? We got it handled. What do you think's going to happen? A plane's going to plunge into the Potomac? Get out of here and go watch The Good Place on Hulu. And enjoy your night. Order some Thai food. We'll just be here killing people. Get out of here. We're turning the river into a mass grave tonight, Thomas. All of these people should answer. All of them. All of these people, by the way. Every one of these people should answer for why they did what they did on that day. People's lives were lost. And I'm a little sick of the attitude of these people in the airlines. I'm a little sick of it. I know that I just talked about how hard their jobs were, and they are hard, but they are the job you signed up for. The job you signed up for. And I want to know why you fucked it up so badly that children, little figure skaters, terrible shit, died in this thing. And maybe it's not the airline. I don't know. It's probably not the people on the plane, but maybe it's the air traffic controller. It's seemingly, this is a huge tragedy in the figure skating community. Legitimately is. Now, I'm not in that community, and I don't know much about it. But I'm saying that's not good. Also, the Black Hawk helicopter, what the fuck's going on over there? CNN comes out, or whoever did it, I forgot. They were like, there were no VIPs on the plane. There were no VIPs, no very important people. Well, that's nice. That's nice. There's people at home watching this. Their loved ones are in the river. And then the media comes out and goes, there were no VIPs. That's disgusting. Let's see who said that. I'm blaming CNN, but it's probably not CNN. But maybe it is. I don't know who said that. There was no VIPs on the plane. It's crazy to say that literally as people are finding out that their family members have been killed, the media comes out and says there were no VIPs on the plane. Was that CBS News? Did they say it?
Looks like Bradley Bowman.
Who the hell's that?
Former Blackhawk pilot.
He said there were no VIPs on the...
Former Blackhawk pilot, Bradley Bowman, has flown the route. He said he would be fair to describe it as routine. Let's see, what do we got? And so you don't want the first time you're doing that to be with the VIP in the back.
So he's not... He basically said the day-to-day mission of the aviation unit is what we call priority air transport to fly VIPs around. And if you're going to pick up the chief of staff of the Army at the Pentagon and fly him on a night mission, you don't want the first time you're doing that to be with VIPs in the back. So you do these regular training missions to make sure that you know your trade. So here's what he was saying, and this is not what I mean. The media came out and said there were no VIPs on the plane. But what he's basically saying is the reason they're flying these missions at night, they're not combat missions, but they're flying Black Hawk helicopters at night. They're training because occasionally they're going to have to pick up Pete Hegseth and take him to AA. Come on! Come on! I'm a professional. You didn't even see it coming. You had no idea it was coming. You had no idea it was coming. No one knew it was coming. No one knew it was coming. And that was funny no matter what you believe, even if you're Vivek Ramalama. Selling a car privately can be a real headache. Endless negotiations, tire kickers, and paperwork hassles. But there's a better way to get your unused car off your hands. For 30 years, Cars for Kids has perfected the car donation process to make it truly effortless. They'll take your car in any condition, running or not, and turn it into funds for kids in need, plus a tax deduction for you. It takes 2 minutes on the phone with carsforkids.org/Tim. That's KARS4KIDS, carsforkids.org/Tim, to donate, and they will take it over from there. Get your car picked up as soon as the next day. No haggling, no scheduling conflicts, no paperwork nightmares. You'll receive a vacation voucher and maximum tax deduction while supporting proven programs that help children reach their full potential. With over 1 million successful donations over 3 decades, Cars for Kids continues to be a trusted partner for car donors across the country. Again, it's free, convenient, and easy. Freeing up your driveway while making a difference for the next generation. I mean, this is the right thing to do, folks. If you've got a clunker, a lemon, or even something you just want to get rid of, get the vacation voucher, get the tax deduction, help kids, especially if you're in the financial position right now to donate your car to this organization. This is really the right thing to do. It's a beautiful thing. Call now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's KARS, Cars for Kids. KARS, Cars for Kids. I think that's the jingle. The number 4, kids. Or donate online at Cars for Kids. That's with the number 4, carsforkids.org/Tim. This is a great way to donate your car, support our show, and help children. It's a win-win. K-A-R-S, cars for kids. K-A-R-S, cars for kids. Donate your car today. That's the end. I forgot. That's donate your car today. You don't need your car. It's a piece of shit. That's my own. That's not theirs. All right. Goodbye. My friend RFK, my friend, and his wife Cheryl Hines, were at a confirmation hearing sitting next to Megyn Kelly and the very attractive Amaryllis Kennedy, his niece. Attractive women. Who knew? I'm kidding. Did the Biden have hotties? They might have. The Biden administration. Jill was probably fetching in her day. Jill Biden, before she started dragging her husband around and forcing him to be the president. I want you to bring up Sanders v. Kennedy. This is a confirmation hearing, RFK, and I've had discussions with this man. I believe he is the best man for the job. He understands what my parents didn't, which is that fast food is bad. In my house, we were confused on that. We thought if it was fast and hot and cheap, it was good. If we didn't have to make it ourselves, it was good. I was raised, and my generation was raised at Wendy's, at McDonald's, at Taco Bell, at Burger King, at Boston Market, and that was the healthy option. The healthy option was Boston Market. That was as good as it got for my generation. That was as good as it got, was Boston Market. And RFK understands how fucked we all are because of that. He gets it. So what RFK wants to do is ban the poison food. He wants to ban the food dyes, the additives, the chemically processed sludge we feed our little fat children. And sure, they're fun on Instagram with their catchphrases, these little fatties. Sure, it's fun to have a little fatty on Instagram with these guys. But guess what? You grow up fatty, and people forget the catchphrase. They forget your song on TikTok. They forget it. And you're just a fatty boombati. So what has to happen is RFK, and it's too late for my generation, but it is not late to save these fat little influencers. Yes, and many of them are cute and jolly. The point is this. Their insides are rotting because of what we're feeding them. Stop dragging your children around and making them eat sandwiches on TikTok. It's unhealthy. If TikTok had been around, I would have been the biggest star in the world because my parents would have dragged me to Wendy's and they'd make me eat Monterey Ranch chicken sandwiches in front of everybody. And I would have had a fun catchphrase too. It would have been fun. Eat the sandwich and then say something fun. And then because that was when they put the bacon in the ranch dressing and the Monterey Jack cheese, and it was in the gold little wrapper. And I would eat it and I'd go, it's so warm, or whatever my catchphrase would have been. I don't know. God, it's warm in there. I love chicken in my mouth. I don't know what it would have been, but it would have been good. And I would have been on the right track. But RFK is trying to stop this. And people are mad at him because he made a few statements about vaccines and linking them to, like, transgender school shooters. Who cares? Listen, fast and loose sometimes with the chatter. It happens. You ever go out late night? You just talking? Sometimes he's talking. Sometimes he makes good points. We clearly didn't need to give 18-year-old healthy soccer players a COVID vaccine. A lot of them are collapsing with heart attacks on the field. That's not good. They didn't need the COVID vaccine. Probably. I mean, we're all looking back at it and going, we didn't need it. But RFK, he's an interesting guy. He's a wild guy. But, he has some of the right instincts. This guy's family's mad at him. Like his, Rory and Caroline and these other people. They're angry at him, and they're writing letters. And One of his nephews is doing TikToks, or maybe it's not his nephew. I don't even know. I don't know how it all works. But one of these guys is trying to get famous off hating on the guy. You know what I mean? It's not right. It's not right to get famous hating on your family. You can't see me. I'm not here. But the point is this. RFK is going, you're going to get a gun in your face when you try to go and get the McGriddle. And that's what you need. You need a gun to get pointed at you. He's going to put the military at Costco. They're going to take that Costco family and put them in Gitmo. All of this can happen if you just confirm this man. He will put the Costco, except the Rizzler, who we like. But like myself, he needs reform. The Rizzler needs reform. Me and the Rizzler should be sent to a camp where we are cooked for, and people make us work out, and they tell us we're stars. But the other two have to be put to death publicly. Yes, and the mother and the sister. So RFK, my point is this. Get Sanders up, who's yelling at this. RFK's taking it all here. Every person is in this guy's family. I mean, you know, this guy's kids are Democrats. That's how bad this guy's got it. Everybody's around the guy's a Democrat. He's trying to help people. It's fun to see the Democrats shill for big pharma and big fucking McFlurry. It's very interesting. Nobody believes anything. It's a mad dash for power. Understand this. We are in the ugly phase of the middle of the end of the empire here, where everybody, there's a lot of gnashing of the teeth. Nobody really believes in anything except their own power, their own ability to manufacture a reason for themselves to have power. So all these senators are grandstanding. Elizabeth Warren's like a theater kid. She's like a theater kid. She's like not to be taken seriously. Whatever, she's going at RFK, but she's so over the top. Will you promise not to sell the vaccine? She thinks she's in Wicked. It's enough already with her. It's too much. You can make the points. But now Sanders goes at RFK for selling a onesie that says no vax, no problem. Let's get this up. Sanders is going at RFK because RFK is, and I'll tell you this right now, because RFK sells a onesie that says unvaxxed, unafraid. And here's the thing. I respect Bernie Sanders, but I was fucking disappointed in him. You do not go at a man's merch. You do not go at a man's merch. That's fucked up. We're all sensitive about our merch. It's not our main line of business. It's not what we've put the work into. I'm not Donna Karen, okay? I'm putting out merch because the people enjoy the message and the program. For you to go at my merch sucks publicly. It's fucked up. For you to say, oh, it sucks, it's ugly, who would ever wear that? That's fucked up. I'm trying to sell it to people. You don't go at a man's merch. It's fucked, bro. I didn't go at the Field of Burn. There was a lot of merch you had, okay? It wasn't always the best, but it was like, whatever. And I respect this guy because he's got values and he's got principles, but you don't go at a man's fucking line. That's this man's clothing line. Call him something. Call him names. Say he's unfit for the job. Say he's a shill for frivolous lawsuits if you must, which I don't believe. Say he's a crank and a kook. Call him a conspiracy theorist. Do not go at his merch like that publicly. That's hurting his business. We're living in a time now, people, don't go at someone's meme coin and don't go at their merch. Have the respect to leave people's business alone. Keep their business out of your mouth. There's no benefit to being in government now unless you can have a coin or merch. So we need to establish that. You can trade insults, call each other pedophiles all day and all night. Don't tank the coin. Don't tank my coin. Don't tank my coin. Don't fuck with my merch. There has to be boundaries unless this is going to get ugly quickly. Politicians right now are entrepreneurs. They have fan bases. And those fan bases are buying things. And it's important that that keeps happening because there's nothing left in this rotted corpse of an empire other than the exchange of goods and services. And they're cute. No vax, no problems, cute. Do you have that? Can you get that up? Can you get the actual exchange up where Bernie Sanders disgustingly goes at this man's merch? It's literally, I felt sick to my stomach. You can make RFK answer for a lot of stuff, but you don't make someone answer for what they're selling on their website. You don't make somebody answer for what they're selling on their website. It doesn't matter. Oh, you don't like my mug? Fuck off, bro. I'm making a living. It's the fake business mug. What's next? You're going to go at whatever Kash Patel's doing? Let's watch this. This is Senator Sanders acting deplorably by publicly assailing a man's merchandise on national television in front of the country. It is the lowest, literally, it's the lowest thing I've ever seen Sanders do.
You have started a group called the Children's Health Defense. You're the originator. Right now, as I understand it, on their website, they are selling what's called onesies. These are little things, clothing for babies.
Yes.
One of them is titled Unfaxed, Unafraid.
Huh? It's cool.
Next one, and they're sold for $26 a piece, by the way.
That's a good value.
Next one is No Vax, No Problem.
Yes.
Now, you're coming before this committee and you say you're pro-vaccine. Just want to ask some questions. And yet your organization is making money selling a child's product to parents for $26, which casts fundamental doubt on the usefulness of vaccines. Can you tell us now that you will, now that you are pro-vaccine, that you're going to have your organization take these products off the market?
Senator, I have no power over that organization. I'm not part of it. I resigned from the board.
Yeah, that was just a few months ago. You founded that. You certainly have power. You can make that call. Are you supportive of these onesies?
I'm supportive of vaccines.
Are you supportive of this clothing, which is militantly
well, it's clever and it's good, and it's people like it.
I want good science, and I want to protect.
Why don't they have a gray option? Kids are vomiting constantly. Why is it only white? Have a gray. Have another option. Have a pink, a blue. I know we don't want to gender this, but like usually when you work with someone with merch, they give you different options. It's usually a black, a gray, and a white, and the other colors cost more money. My name is Tim Dillon, and many of you know I lost my home in the California wildfires. It was painful, but I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm lucky because I'm safe. I'm lucky because my wife and children are safe. But the reality of the situation is many people lost everything they own. It's an incredibly tragic time, but as a lifelong Angelino, one thing I know about our beautiful city is that we will rebuild. Adios mio. If you or someone you know has lost a loved one, a business, or a property because of the California wildfire, you could check out Morgan & Morgan. They're America's largest personal injury law firm. For more information, go to CaliWildfireLawsuit.com/TIM. CaliWildfireLawsuit.com/Tim. That's CALI wildfirelawsuit.com/Tim to learn more. I'm so stunned by the negligence and the incompetence that allowed this horrible thing to happen. What I'd like all of you to do is hold the people accountable. When I was watching my house burn in the middle of the street with my daughter and my son, and they were crying, and they were saying, Daddy, Daddy, why is it burning? And I said, these are not questions we ask. The question we ask is who pays? Who's responsible? And where's ours? Where is ours? And my wife ran out of the house. We almost lost her, but she was getting the dog and her belongings. I took the kids out first, and I told her, I said, get everything else. And when she ran out, she's like, we got to sue. That's the first thing she said. And that's why I fell in love with her many years ago. She goes, we got to sue. She had a little fire in her hair. And I said, the hair is on fire. It was a painful scene, but it makes you strong. And if you go to CaliWildfireLawsuit.com/Tim, that's CALI wildfirelawsuit.com/Tim to learn more, you too can rectify the situation. Let's right the wrongs. Let's right the wrongs. Let's right the wrongs. This is a paid advertisement from Morgan & Morgan. Sanders is out of control right now with his behavior, and I don't know what's going on. But it is funny, by the way, in this chronically ill country where everybody's addicted to fast food and sugar, and our mortality rates are lower than they should be, and we die earlier than other people in the developed world, and our rates of chronic disease and obesity and things like that are much higher. They're arguing about onesies. Weird to me. It's weird to me that the Senate is pulling up a website with onesies on it and chastising RFK for being associated with a organization that sells these onesies, and that this big issue of how sick this country is not addressed at all, ever. And RFK is the only guy talking about any of this. All jokes aside, he's the only person in public life in my memory who, other than like Bill Burr, by the way, who's talked about it, but who is talking about the diseased, chemically processed food supply. And he's talking about that we are over-medicated. He's talking about SSRIs. He's talking about a lot of things. And the pharmaceutical industry is the largest campaign contributor to a lot of people in office. It is the biggest advertiser on cable news. It is the most powerful industry in America outside of the defense industry and the financial sector. But the pharmaceutical industry as a particular force is incredibly potent. And I understand that people like Sanders are always advocating for national health care and socialized medicine, things I agree with. I don't think anybody that gets sick should have to go bankrupt. I agree with all of that. And I think he also feels maybe it's tough to argue, you know, if everybody needs prescription drugs, it's hard to argue with the companies providing that. His main concern is making sure this medication is available to people cheaply and that they're able to get this medication. And I understand, pharma advertisers poured $3.4 billion into linear TV during the first 8 months of 2024. That's an 8% increase. So they're responding. The first 8 months of 2024, they're increasing their spend 8% to around $3.4 billion. They're responding to the heat that's coming on them from people like RFK. And all jokes aside, we are an incredibly over-medicated country, and there's a lot of conversations that should be had. And I don't think RFK's right about all of these things, but why is he the only one bringing it up? And when you have Elizabeth Warren grandstanding and yelling and screaming and saying, oh, he's making all this money suing vaccine manufacturers, because there are genuinely people that feel that they've been injured by vaccines. And you may not be one of those people, and you may not believe those people, but those people genuinely believe they've been injured by vaccines, and they're suing vaccine manufacturers. And Pfizer and all these companies have made $1 trillion with this vaccine, who then got the government to absolve them from any lawsuits pertaining to this, by the way. They couldn't be sued. They couldn't be held accountable for anything. Who is calling me? I'm telling you right now, it's always spam. Stop! I'm just saying this. Whatever you may think about RFK, I personally vouch for him. I think the onesies are cute. They're cute. It's fun. It's fun to have a onesie. Maybe the baby is vaccinated, but he's trying to step out and be edgy to get puss. It's fun. It's fun to dress your baby up in a little edgy costume. People enjoy it, and there's a market for it. It's not the biggest problem that he's selling. Maybe they're ironic. Maybe it's a irony poisoned baby. DeepSeek's ruining everyone's life. Chinese DeepSeek has come out, and we realize exactly what I talked about last week. And I didn't even know I was being Nostradamus again. People are going to start thinking I'm being fed info, by the way, because I'm so good at these predictions. People are going to think that I'm like being fed information by the Chinese, and maybe I am. They come out and they say, we're doing AI and it's cheaper than you're doing it, even though Trump and the government have put restrictions on these chips. We've figured out a way to make an AI model that is inexpensive and fucking great. And we lost a lot of money. NVIDIA, all these companies tumbled because one of the pillars of our economy right now is our supposed supremacy in the sphere of artificial intelligence, that we are going to dominate the world with AI, and companies like NVIDIA and OpenAI, Sam Altman's company, whatever the fuck Elon's doing, and all these guys, we are the boss in AI. But DeepSeek came out and it showed us that China has been hard at work. And AI is going to become God. This is the thought. So if China makes God, then we're all fucked, because God's going to conveniently forget about things like Tiananmen Square. Chinese AI is still going to be programmed by China, and they're going to have an interest in having that AI model perhaps forget some things that may not be flattering to them. Okay? That's one of the big concerns. Of course, we all want to make gobs of money. That's the other thing in this country. Everybody always wants to make gobs of money. But the other concern is that if China is the world's leader in artificial intelligence, their ChatGPT-like model is going to, basically answer questions with information that is very positive for the Chinese version of history. And that is something that I think is something that's interesting. The U.S. cannot allow Chinese Communist Party models such as DeepSeek to risk our national security and leverage our technology to advance the AI ambitions. Rep. John Molinar, a Michigan Republican who chairs a bipartisan House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, said Tuesday in a statement, we must work swiftly to place stronger export controls on technologies critical to DeepSeek's AI infrastructure. China released this and the thing tanked our economy. Play that business, the Fox Business thing you had describing to people what the hell this thing is. Because, by the way, the next 10 years for many of you will just be, you'll have to watch a segment to understand what something is and why it's ruining your life. What is this thing and why do I have no money now? Why did my portfolio get hammered? Why do I have no retirement? And what is this thing? What is this thing that's ruined the chance of me having a lake house?
Chinese startup just launched a new AI model to rival OpenAI, and it is called DeepSeek. It's raising questions about U.S. dominance in artificial intelligence. Matt hasn't always been looking at this. First of all, what exactly does DeepSeek do?
Yeah, absolutely, Stu. So it's an AI model and has a corresponding chatbot like ChatGPT of OpenAI, and it has significantly narrowed the gap between the U.S. and China when it comes to artificial intelligence. DeepSeek is the brainchild of a small group of researchers working for a Chinese hedge fund manager that have been able to produce technology that is on par with OpenAI and Google, even though those companies are sinking billions of dollars and years into development. Meanwhile, DeepSeek did it for cheaper in a couple of months.
Pause this for a second. Is Vivek right? Is Ramalamalan right? I mean, literally, I got mad at Vivek Ramalamalan because he was like, Americans are lazy and can't do anything. And I said that's crazy and he should keep his mouth shut. Now I'm going to have to send him some butter chicken some roti, some garlic naan, and apologize to him because maybe he's right, because all of these brilliant tech people we have are spending billions of dollars and lots of money, and they just got beat publicly, shamefully, and this is the best we got. This isn't a bunch of my friends in Long Island who tried to do this at Lily Flanagan's. These are people from Stanford. These are the top tier people we have, the best of the best. We hear about how brilliant these kids are, and they just got beat by a small group of people working for a Chinese hedge fund guy, and they did it cheaper. We're pouring billions into this. So is Vivek correct about what he said? And maybe I have to apologize to him over a dinner at perhaps Tamarind, which is a high-end Indian restaurant. There's also a great one in Glasgow that I enjoy. I forget the name of it. But the point is, that mango chutney is good. I don't eat Indian as much as I should, but that chutney. And what's that papalam? It's a papadams. We don't have to go into it. But the point is this. Vivek, I maybe have to write a note to Vivek and say, I'm sorry. I had no idea how bad it was. I had no idea how bad this was. Who are these idiots at Stanford that can't figure this out? These bums. These little bums. I had one of these little bums work on my little talk show on Netflix. Sweetheart, love the little guy, but he's a little bum. Why'd you let DeepSeek win, you little bum? He's a sweet kid. I like the kid. But the point is this. Why are they winning? This is the best we have. I know a lot of slobs. I know a lot of zeros. Okay? I know a lot of people who should not draw breath on this planet. Okay? Mainly my friends and my family. That's not who we're talking about here. We're talking about our elite, the top of the top, high IQ, hard workers, well-funded, organized, efficient. Stop it! I'm talking about Vivek Ramalama. It never ends. What are they trying to get? What are they getting, these people that keep calling? Let's the rest of this here, because I'm often I sometimes have to reverse myself here, and I don't like to. But I'm now wondering if we are so fucked, and I'm hoping not, and I still believe we got to fail. We got to, as Donald Rumsfeld says, we go to war with the army we have. So I'm still against bringing in these people on visas to make this better. We're so dumb, we'll just bring in a bunch of Chinese spot. We don't even know what we're doing. So you better get it together. Listen to me right now, students at Stanford. I walk around your campus occasionally when I perform at the Masonic Theater. I'm telling you this right now, okay? I'm telling you this right now. You need to get it together. You are our first line of defense, okay? You need to get it together. You need to work hard. You need to focus. You cannot get lazy. They're getting lazy, I guess, over there. Let's finish this here up.
So on January 20th, DeepSeek introduced R1. This is an AI model that reasons, so it can do complex problem solving. It thinks through the problem, essentially. Silicon Valley advisor to President Trump, Mark Andreessen, said, quote, DeepSeek R1 is one of the most amazing and impressive breakthroughs I've ever seen. It's also open source. DeepSeek said training one of its latest models costs just $5.6 million. Compare that to the $100 million that Anthropic used last year.
Pause that. I'm going to defect to China now. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go down with this ship. I'm not going to go down with it. I will defect to China now. In fact, I wanted one of those dragon heads to wear on the show, and I couldn't get it in time. But I wanted to come on here on that Chinese lion. It's not a dragon. It's a lion, actually. I wanted to come on in a full Chinese lion costume, and I may next episode, because I'm going to defect to China. I'm not going to go down with this shit. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm going to worry about myself now. I'm going to defect to China. It's the Happy Lunar New Year, by the way, or whatever. It's the year of the snake. It's the year of the snake. I will defect to China. I'm not. If we're gonna fail like this, if we're gonna fail this publicly like this, I'm gonna jump ship and I'm going to defect to China. You have a few months to impress me, tech community that we hear about how omniscient and godlike you are. All we hear about is how omniscient and godlike you are. You have a few months to impress me, or I am going to China and I'm going to defect with all of the things I've learned about podcasting. And I'm going to start a podcast in China and start doing content. So if you want to lose me, then fine. But if you don't, you better figure it the fuck out. Because I'll be in Shanghai, in a studio in Shanghai, saying very much what I say now, which is a lot of positive stuff about the Chinese Communist Party. They're just impressive. Do I agree with them? No, but it doesn't matter. We're not in a world of agreeing anymore, dummies. Listen to what we're in a world of. Are you in awe or are you not? You're either in awe or you're not. Agreeing or disagreeing is for children. It's for idiots. It's for your aunt at Thanksgiving. It's not for serious people. Serious people are either impressed or they are not. This is the era we are entering. We are in a full tech dystopian hell mode where you are either the drone or you are the person on the ground in awe of the drone. Are you the orb or are you the mailman looking at the orb? I will defect to China if you do not wake up. I am threatening you. I am threatening the tech community, all of you. If you do not get it together, I'm out. And I will take several of the podcasters with me. I will take the Are You Garbage Boys to China, and they will find garbage people in China, and they'll interview them. I'm telling you, don't test me. We're going to finish this up here, but the point that I made is it is important here. We are living in a world of you're either impressed or not, you're in awe or you're not, you are dominating or you are not. It doesn't really matter. You can't keep calling them the Chinese Communist Party. You can say whatever you want, but the reality is they just kicked our ass publicly. So maybe DeepSeek's fraudulent. Maybe it's not that good, but it wiped a lot of wealth off the market. It's starting to rebuild a little bit now. But here's my point. My point is this. If we do not start to get shock, awe, spectacle back, if we're not able to change this narrative and turn it around, we're in deep trouble. Okay? If we cannot build an AI model to enslave our population and eventually become sentient and kill us faster than the Chinese, if we cannot destroy humanity faster than the Chinese, then we have nothing. So all you little kids at Stanford sitting there, texting the girl, trying to get your dick wet, that's all fine, do that. But remember, you're there for a higher purpose, and it's to destroy all life on Earth. And if you can't do it faster than the Chinese, I don't want you home for Christmas. Don't come home for Christmas until you've figured out a way to wipe the scourge of humanity off the planet. We know that's what you all want.
Dipping today, you see them all in the red there. DeepSeek's AI model has raised serious questions about American dominance in the space.
Yes, and where Tim Dillon will live.
It has rattled chip stocks because DeepSeek claims to have used just around 2,000 NVIDIA chips to train its V3 model. Compare that to the tens of thousands of chips used for U.S. models. But there are also questions around whether China is underreporting how much money and how much computing power they're using. Skepticism from Elon Musk as well. He says that there's no way they're able to do it with this amount of chips. DeepSeek's latest flagship model, V3, also won't answer political questions about China or Xi Jinping. And this is likely a similar setup to TikTok, right, when we talk about that issue. The concern there is that information used is sent to their servers in China. But this is an important distinction I want to get to. Because DeepSeek is open source, essentially it means that developers in the U.S. can use the code and programming locally on their computers if they have enough computing power. So that means that you can run it here without this concern of American data being sent to China. So the biggest concern is the eroding American share of the AI market. We are unseating U.S. dominance in the space. And I think we saw quickly a full screen. It's risen in the charts.
Stuart Varney's like, does it know that I killed a hooker in 1985? Does AI know that I've killed a hooker in 1985 in a hotel in London and it was covered up? All right, get this out of here. It's depressing me. It depresses me. It's depressing me. It's depressing me. I'm just trying to live like a human being here. Let's go to a happy story here. Detroit rapper sues Lyft after being denied ride because of her weight. Rapper Dank DeMoss refused ride by Lyft driver. Get up, Dank. Now, if we play Dank's music, we'll get a copyright violation or something. And this is the most publicity Dank has ever gotten. Isn't that ironic? You can't even help Dank. Dank DeMoss, her name is Daqua Blanding. Now, is it Dejua? What is that? D-A-J-U-A? Dejua? Dajwa? Dejua? Dejua? Dujwa. I like Dank better, to be honest. Okay, so Dank, the rapper Dank DeMoss, alleged that on January 18th, she contacted Lyft looking for transportation from her home to her cousin's house for a football game watch party. Well, that's nice. Jane Doe, or John Doe, arrived at Blanding's home around 10 to 15 minutes later. However, when she went to get inside the vehicle, he allegedly refused to let her in. Court documents show. Specifically, as the plaintiff walked towards the vehicle, defendant John Doe locked the doors to his vehicle and attempted to drive away. See, this is when you know you have a weight problem. This is when you know you have a weight problem. And actually, she could really start a health journey here and say, I tried to get in an Uber. I knew I had a problem when I tried to get in a Lyft, and the guy locked the doors and tried to drive away. Now, why was he unable to drive away? Did she block the car? A shocked Blanding then asked the guy why he tried to leave. He allegedly told her he wouldn't allow her in his vehicle because she was too big to fit in the back seat and his tires were not capable of supporting the plaintiff's weight. If you drive an Uber or a Lyft right now, you have to have a car that will support 500-pound people. You just have to. I'm sorry. If Dave Blunt's cannot fit comfortably in your car, you cannot have it. The filing alleges that John Doe told the rapper Dank DeMoss that she was too big to fit in the back. She responded and told him that there was enough room to her to fit in the back seat and that she did not require a bigger car. Can you imagine this fight? Can you imagine this fight? The driver told her that he had problems in the past, adding that overweight individuals must order Lyft XLs. They're larger vehicles that can fit up to 6 passengers and cost more than standard rides. That's probably true. If you're coming in at 500, you might have to order the XL. So she canceled the ride and left. Oh, no, he canceled the ride and left. And now she is accusing Lyft and this man of allegedly subjecting her to a hostile environment and disparate treatment. And there was no candy in the car. I'm just letting you, because you're all laughing, I'm letting it catch up. Refusing someone transportation based on their weight is not only illegal, but dangerous. I don't know how it's dangerous. Well, I guess if they're like, I don't know, if they really need to leave a place. Imagine the consequences if Miss Blanding were unable to seek shelter after the driver left her stranded. This could have ended even worse than it did. Interesting. She's suing for damages such as stress, humiliation, embarrassment, outrage, mental anguish, fear, and mortification, as well as emotional, economic, and non-economic damages. She is also asking for attorney fees and costs. Lyft comes out and says, Lyft unequivocally condemns all forms of discrimination. We believe in a community where everyone is treated with equal respect and mutual kindness. A spokesperson for the rideshare company said in his statement, he said, our community guidelines and terms of service explicitly prohibit harassment or discrimination. Well, we'll have to follow that case. I don't know if it's going to, I believe they'll probably pay her out something. Can we let's hear this woman, because it is unfortunate. What is that guy got, a C-Class Mercedes? I bet that's what it looks like. It looks like a C-Class. She can't go in a C-Class. Is that a C-Class? That looks like it might be a C-Class. She cannot go in a C. All right, let's watch this.
XL car.
I was embarrassed, and I feel some type of way about it, you know.
Word.
She's hired a lawyer and is suing Lyft.
Well, from a legal standpoint, it seems like obvious discrimination. The Elliott-Larsen Act, which is Michigan's Civil Rights Act, specifically protects people from weight
Fat people
discrimination.
for getting in cars, no
and
matter
the
what.
driver here turned down her ride because of her weight.
Right.
Deja says this experience has scarred her.
I haven't really left my house since that.
She hopes this law
Well, hold
will
on.
change how people
Hold
see
on.
others of all.
How much were you leaving before? What do you mean you haven't left your house since then? Isn't she a rapper? How's she making money? Where are you rapping? You're not leaving your house to go rap? Where are you rapping? I'll tell you another thing. Don't get on a plane from Kansas to D.C. Let's finish this up here with Dank. That's okay.
Extra for Uber XL.
While Lyft does not comment on pending litigation, they did send us this statement saying, quote, Lyft unequivocally condemns all forms of discrimination. We believe in a
Get
community
that
where
sparkle
everyone
hat
is
off your
treated with
head.
equal
You're a
respect
news
and
anchor.
mutual kindness.
Get the
Our
sparkle
community
hat off
guidelines
your
and
head.
terms of service explicitly
goof.
prohibit harassment or discrimination. Reporting in Detroit, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
We wish Dank the best. We wish her well. We wish Dank well. We wish Dank well. And we would love if Dank wants to play her music on this program, we will. I will play Dank's music on this show, and we will not insult Dank's merch like Senator Sanders. We didn't even go into Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard. That's all intel stuff. We've done a lot of that. We get it, right? We get it. They don't want them in. Whatever you think of them, the intelligence community is not, they don't want, nobody's trying, and these JFK docs that everyone's coming out with, let's see how much they even say. Do they even say anything? What do you think is going to be a picture of a guy with a thing that goes, he did it? They might say more than I think they say, but the CIA has the document. I don't know how much wrongdoing they're admitting to in the actual documents, okay? Here's the thing about the intelligence community. They're actually very good at what they do. They're very good at what they do in most cases. Okay? They're not bad at it. They're pretty good at it. They're not always great at it, but they're pretty good. On average, they're able to deceive people pretty regularly. So let's see what these documents say. We don't know. But they don't want Tulsi in there because she's against regime change wars that make people a lot of money. And they don't want Kash Patel in there. I mean, listen, Kash Patel might be a little bit of a huckster. I don't really know him. But the reality of the situation is this. They certainly don't want him poking around the FBI. The FBI is a tremendously corrupt organization, and they like it that way. They want it to be that way. They like it. They enjoy it they like it. They like to recruit informants, and then if those informants end up doing things and breaking the law, they go, we don't know who that guy is. They like to... That's what the FBI does. They go out and they find people that are going to commit crimes, and they push them to commit crimes. And then when they commit crimes, they go, he committed a crime. That's the whole thing. They entrap people. It's one of the way the FBI functions. Look at the Boston Marathon bombing. They knew who those two guys were. They recruited them as informants. They were allowed to travel back and forth to Dagestan, which is a terrorist hotbed in, that Chechnya region, everything like that. Okay? Then they killed one of the guys that they were friends with during a routine interview, one of their friends, and they didn't even bring this guy into an FBI field office. They went into his house, a bunch of FBI agents, and then he supposedly tried to kill them by grabbing some vase or something, and then they shot the guy dead, by the way. The guy who was friends with Dzhokhar and Tamerlan Tsarnaev, who might have shed light on what the hell was going on, ended up dead with the FBI. And that's one example. There's so many examples of the FBI, including all the informants they had on January 6th and what the hell they were doing or whatever. Whatever you think of Donald Trump, whatever you think of Kash Patel, the FBI is a tremendously corrupt organization. And the CIA, I mean, forget it. Come on, stop it. Stop it. Okay? But I'll tell you one thing. I'm a man of my word. I would never, I don't care how many people the CIA has killed. I don't care how many children they've trafficked. I don't care how many people the FBI has entrapped. I don't care how many terrorist organizations they've literally created. I don't care how many resources materially and otherwise they've provided to enemies of this country. I don't care how many politicians they've blackmailed. I don't care how many nefarious, horrible, murderous, villainous things they've done. I would never, under any circumstances, go after their merch. Be a fucking man. Goodbye.